Hello and welcome to this quick presentation on Europe's demographic challenges. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to explore how the rise of the far right, how anti-immigration politics could actually accelerate the population decline, the demographic time bomb in Europe, that could impact economic growth by slowing it down and could also dramatically increase costs for pensions and elderly care. And what we're about to go through is based pretty heavily on the article in The Guardian from the 18th of February, which you can see referenced at the bottom of the slide here. So first of all, let's set the scene. To set the scene, recent elections across Europe have shown a surge in far-right parties advocating for stricter border controls, or in some cases even shutting Europe's borders entirely. Germany's Alternative für Deutschland has polled second nationally, and Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has made immigration crackdowns one of her key priorities. And these political shifts come at a time when Europe's population is already on track to shrink substantially over the next century due to very low birth rates. So to try and exemplify this, this is a projection of Europe's population by the year 2100. That is with migration. So those areas shaded in red have got increasingly reduced populations, in some cases up to 75% reduced. Areas in white around about neutral, and those areas in the kind of teal green colour starting to show some kind of growth. But you can see on the fringes of Europe, both the west and the east, substantial population decline. And only really Scandinavia, pockets of Central Europe, and the United Kingdom, which of course is no longer in the EU, but still very much part of this European issue, along with Switzerland, showing population growth. So that is what it will look like with migration. If you take migration out, you can see a really stark picture of widespread population decline all across the European continent. And these EU projections reveal really two stark scenarios, and they are that with current migration trends, Europe's population drops from around about 447 million to around about 419 million. So that's a 6% decrease. But without any migration, using this scenario here, you can see the population plummets to around about 295 million, which is a drop of over a third. And if we were to break it down individually, country by country, with the black line here showing population projections in numbers with migration and without migration, we can see that countries like Italy, France, and Germany, where anti-immigration sentiments are currently running very high, would stand to lose tens of millions of residents if the borders were to close entirely. In Italy, for example, zero immigration would cause the population to fall from 59 million to just 28 million. And this picture is mirrored across all of Europe. So you can see some of the larger countries there. And as we move down, it's a picture that's shown practically everywhere. Only Latvia really stays around about the same. Some countries seeing extremely dramatic drops from current population levels. So why does this matter? Well, this matters because a shrinking population means a smaller labour force, potentially slower growth, and therefore higher tax burdens that are required to fund pensions and healthcare. As a proportion of older residents rise as governments face escalating costs for things like social care, healthcare services. And according to experts like John Springford from the Centre for European Reform, immigration is one of the key ways in which we can ease those demographic pressures. You can see there the projected tax burdens set to rise, or that have risen, sorry, from 1980 to 2020, and that's expected to continue as this demographic crisis hits. Many EU healthcare systems are also very heavily reliant on immigrant doctors and nurses, and it can rise up to 40% in countries like Ireland and Norway. But immigration alone isn't just a cure-all to all of these solutions. It must be coupled with higher employment, better employment, potentially later retirement ages, something I know that's been contentious here in France, and even potentially some kind of reformed tax social care system. Immigrants who do come must be able to find work, which is not always the case at present. Sometimes they're banned from working, and otherwise they risk contributing to further fiscal pressures rather than easing them. So maybe some changes to immigration policy and how migrants are processed needs to be looked at there. And it's the rural areas in particular. When we looked back at these maps, we can see it's the rural areas in particular that bear the brunt of Europe's demographic shifts. One example is Camini, which is a small Italian village that nearly fell into ruin until actually there was a refugee resettlement program, and actually that helped revitalize the whole community. And today, more than 50 refugees have settled there permanently. They've got a little website here you can see telling their story. They've reopened the local school, injected fresh energy and new skills into the community. And projects like Community can show how migration, when it's part of a joined up strategy, can help combat population decline and also ensure essential services remain viable. So to wrap up, Europe's currently at a crossroads. The far right's push to close borders may accelerate population decline and may bring with it some very tough economic challenges. But immigration, alongside other measures, can help stabilise this demographic future. And as this policy debate unfolds, no doubt over the coming years and maybe decades, understanding those trade-offs and long-term consequences is going to be vital if we're going to ensure a sustainable and prosperous Europe. So I hope that quick overview, has provided an insight into a key challenge facing Europe, that of the demographic challenge and the role that migration can play. Okay, thank you very much.